Hey everybody, Mike McWilliams, Upstairs to the Right Music. Well, it's been a little bit over a week since I had my last show, and quite frankly, everybody, I've been a little bit under the weather. I am recovering, so I thought today we would have a little bit of fun and take a look at some of the things on my watch list on Reverb. As you know, I have a Reverb shop, Mike's Attic Guitar Shop, where I was selling a lot of the gear that I was reviewing here on this channel. Anyway, I thought today it would be a lot of fun to take a look at what's on my watch list, talk about some of the things that I'm currently looking at on Reverb. So let's go over to my watch list and let's take a look at some of the items that I'm looking at and why am I looking at them. Well, there's a lot of cool guitars over here in the Netherlands if you live here. It's an exciting place actually to look at new and vintage guitars. They have, oh my gosh, one of the bursts that were featured in the Collector's Choice that Gibson put out comes here from the Netherlands. So this is a guitar mecca. Next, we have a Bernie single cut Honeyburst. Bernies are Japanese made guitars. I'll tell you a funny story. The manufacturers of this guitar up there in the Nagano area of Japan, near Matsumoto, which is where most of these guitars, most Japanese guitars, even to this day, are produced at the Fujian plants. They wanted to call this guitar Bunny, but because their English pronunciation of the word bunny, it sounds like Bernie, that's what they put on the guitar. It was supposed to read B-U-N-N-Y, Bunny, but the Japanese thought that it sounded like, but Bunny was Bernie, a Bernie rabbit. So they spelled it B-U-R-N-Y. That's actually a true story. That's no joke. That was really something, we'll call it lost in translation. But I like these Japanese made Les Paul models, as you know. A lot of them are pretty cool, and there is a plethora of them here in this one was made in 2017, so this is not an old one, and it's also, this one was made in China, so this obviously is one of the more modern versions of this guitar, but the level of detail that you get in these are equivalent to the Epiphone 59. There is a wood, as you can see, it's two-piece wood veneer that's been placed on top of a two-piece maple veneer that's been placed on top of a maple cap, which is the same thing that you would get out of an Epiphone. However, in this case, instead of Indian laurel on the fretboard, you're actually getting real rosewood fretboard, so that's a little bit of a better thing. Yeah, these are again Chinese-made guitar, and woo boy, it's looking like the tuning pegs, there's something's going on there. Yeah, you probably have to replace those. Those are definitely not going to be the same quality of the Gibson Epiphone tuners. But if you're looking for a well-made guitar that has just about all the bells and whistles that you want at a reasonable price at 740 some odd bucks, you really can't go wrong with these Bernie single cuts. I'm really amazed at the prices on these vintage Gibson Les Paul specials. They are really getting up there in price. This 77 is going pretty much at the same price that you would get a brand new Les Paul standard model today. And this is just, a basic studio. What's going on with these tuning pegs here? Looks like they're a little bent. Any case, not a lot of damage here. A little bit of damage around in and around here. Two P90s, soap bar P90s, really nice looking. I would really, yeah, I'm curious to take a look at this. Let's see if we can. No, we can't zoom in. It looks like the neck is in one piece. Yeah. Yeah, don't see any cracks or breaks or anything there. So I was interested in this model. I thought that it was interesting. Um, I am in the market for a Les Paul Special. I have been for several years. There was one in Los Angeles that I saw when I bought my 93 Les Paul Classic at the same shop that I almost picked up on that day. I'm actually kind of kicking myself because they only wanted $700 for it, and I believe it was a 97. And I bet you at this point right now that I could have doubled my money on something like that. So anyway, you know, you live and you learn. Yeah, I'm looking at Les Paul specials. I find them very, very interesting. P90s. As you remember, I had that Les Paul special limited edition with P90s. It was an Epiphone. I did not love it. It was okay guitar, but it fell into that as I described my feelings about prior to 2020's Epiphones. I thought that it suffered from some of the problems that those Epiphones of prior years had for me. It was just too heavy of a poly finish on it, and the pickups were, you know, they're top of the line P90 Pro Buckers, but they just weren't working for me. And so I passed that one on recently. But I am in the market for a Les Paul Special. I'm still out there looking, and I realize that, you know, if I'm going to do it, it would probably be best just to get a Gibson Les Paul Special somewhere between 2002 and 2008. I think is a good amount. That year range seems, from my research, to be a good year to pick one up at a reasonable price. I think that this 1381 on this one is a little bit much. I'd be very interested to see what the price range on these that are actually selling. Um, but I think that you probably around 900 to $1,000. That would be appropriate price. I think that this is a little bit too much, and I think he overestimated how much they could initially get. That's why you see this big drop here. I think they still got about $300 to go on that one. Another Les Paul special tribute humbucker. This one I thought was interesting because it has humbuckers in it. Wow, you know, a Les Paul special with humbuckers is pretty cool. Um, this is coming out of Italy. I like the finish. I like the way it looks. It looks pretty cool. Yeah, a lot of wood grain you can see in that. Yeah, it looks really great. So here it's 2019 model made on the 331st day. So yeah, look at that. So we've got ourselves a 2019 Les Paul Special with humbuckers. I think it looks fantastic. The neck being a little bit different color from the body, that's a small thing. It's not a major oof. But even you can see how noticeable that is. They could have done a little bit better job with the stain on that to match it up a little bit better. But wear and tear, it'll wear down anyway. So maybe at the end of the day, that's not a bad thing. So this is definitely one of my contenders. This is one of the ones that I'm seriously considering. I like the fact that this includes the VAT. Shipping from Italy here is only going to cost me 37 bucks. So if I did go for one, if I decided I'm just going to go ahead and go for one, This is the one that I'm actually seriously considering. They say only one left, act fast, but it's been sitting here for a while. I don't think it's going to go anywhere anytime soon, so I'll still have time to consider it, but it is something that I am looking at. Moving right along, let's get out of guitars. Oh, here's something very interesting. So, as you know, I'm really in the market for a Fender amp. I have a Laney amp with a Celestian greenback in it that gives me that vintage, rock greenback tones that I like. I have a Vox with a Celestian blueback in it so that I can get that chimey classic Vox sound. And I'm looking to buy a Fender amp and possibly purchase this Jensen ceramic 12-inch 50-watt 8-ohm guitar speaker. This is the original speaker that went in all of the 60s Fender amps. And so, I'm really into vintage speakers. This being no exception. This does not look like a Recone at all. Yeah, yeah, everything looks good on it. So I thought to myself, just buy this. It's local, so it's in Rotterdam, so it's not that far away. Just purchase this, put it aside, and then try to find the modern Fender amp that I could slip this into. And you'd have the best of both worlds in that situation. You'd have all the better wiring, the easier to maintain, the newness of a brand new Fender amp, but you'd have the tones coming out through this vintage speaker that would, give it that classic vibe to it, that classic tone to it. So this is actually something I'm considering doing here, purchasing this speaker, putting it aside, and waiting for that Fender amp to come through. This is interesting to me. I'm in love with this 55 Les Paul Custom Ebony. For some reason, this is coming out of Indonesia. For some reason, I can't find out very much about this guitar at all. I know that it comes in the same Epiphone case that the 59 comes in. As you can see, it's got the Epiphone P90s in it, but it's basically the binding and the headstock and everything is custom style. So this is a P90 custom that's based on the 55 Les Paul Custom. I would love to have this guitar because, quite frankly, you do not see these, but I can find not a lot of information about these. It's very strange. If you do a little bit of a Google search, yeah, you really can't find out a whole lot about this guitar. Is it a sleeper guitar? Is it something that they just came out with a limited edition of? I don't know. What's the dates on this? So yeah, I can't even read that. It's not very legible. But in any case, I'm enamored with this, and the fact that it comes with a case, same price that you would pay for the 59. If you're on Reverb and this seems like something that you'd be interested in and you don't mind doing a little shopping from Indonesia, heck, I lived next to Indonesia for 5 years. And most of the guitar gear that I bought came out of Indonesia. A lot of the pedals, a lot of and hey, actually the Les Paul Epiphone first Les Paul Epiphone Les Paul that I bought came from Indonesia. So both of them actually, the Les Paul Special and the Elite. So yeah, I have no problem with that, and neither should you. Yeah, so if you know anything about this guitar, if you've heard anything about it, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. I can't find a whole lot of information about it, but boy, that is just killer. I mean, look at that. That is just gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. Really well done. what do we got here? Yeah, so you have the Epiphone Deluxe tuners on it, just like on the 59. So yeah, you're really looking at something here that is unique. I like it. I think it's a gorgeous guitar. Okay, last thing we'll talk about today, interesting enough, is Omnico 5 magnets that I was looking at. I have swap magnets and pickups. If they're waxed, it is a little tricky, but you can do it. You can swap magnets, no problem. You just have to make sure that the poles are correct when you put the swap in. But it's actually a fun way of playing with the tone of the pickups that you have. Instead of buying a brand new pair of pickups, it would be easier, in my opinion, just to swap the magnets. And there is a significant change in tone that you'll get by just swapping magnets. I swapped the magnets out of my Les Paul Classic, I believe. Was it the Les Paul Classic? Yeah, my Les Paul Classic. I had, gosh, A2s in there, and I did put an A2, an A5 in the bridge position, and it made a huge difference. It really gave me that growl and that tone. So instead of swapping pickups, as you can see, it's a far more economic and easier thing to do. Well, maybe not easier, but I think just as easier to do is just to swap the magnets out. And at this price, for this set of Alnico 5 magnets, you really can't go wrong. 4 pieces, yeah, for humbuckers. And it's a great kind of thing to do. It's a fun thing to do, actually, to tell you the truth, to swap the magnets out. But I did, as you know, find a luthier, and he encouraged me to do it myself. And I did it, and it worked out great. As a matter of fact, when I sold that guitar, I don't think the person knows that that bridge pickup is actually a swap magnet in it. So anyway, that is it for today. That was taking a look at what I'm interested in on Reverb right now. I hope you enjoyed the show as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. Again, without your help, I wouldn't have reached the subscriptions that I have. I want to thank each and every one of you for staying with me and subscribing with me. As you know, my goal is to reach 1,000 subscriptions, and I can't do that without your help. So if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscription button. If you like the content of today's video, hit the like button. And until the next show, you guys take care. See you later. Bye-bye.